Welcome to Pearlmania500. This is the podcast where I do all the work and then Alex gets the giggles.
There's a place where you can't stay when the world gets too insane. Yeah, when the world gets too inane, tune in to Pearlmania. Brony talks and pony jars and saying a sonic race just. Fitness scams and grifters, damn, and various other miscellanea. So there's this place where you can stay to let those Pearlmans save ya. Pearlmania, Pearlmania, Pearlmania 500. Take it away, Pearlmans, and remember to smile.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're ready for it.
We made it.
It's another episode.
Yeah.
And this is our penultimate before the holiday, paternity, maternity, end of year, season finale, whatever we're going to call it, take a little 3-week breaky.
Yeah.
And I just like to remind people about that.
I know.
Well, yeah, and that's what, just to remind everybody, we're going to be, December 3rd is going to be our last live episode of the year. Mm-hmm. We're then going to be, have a kid.
Deep in the Christmas.
And it was Christmas and also a child.
It's like I know both are happening.
Yeah, either way.
I'm prioritizing one of them over the other.
Okay, which is weird. It's weird that you would pick the Christ child over the baby child.
Oh, not like the religious parts. I'm talking about the cookies. I'm talking about decorating.
Yeah.
I'm talking about watching the Muppet Christmas Carol on repeat.
Yeah, all those things are going to be happening.
Yeah, and I'm going to have a baby.
Yeah, and we're going to have a baby, so we're not going to be recording. We have, as we've said repeatedly, we have recorded some episodes that are in the can with very special guests, all of which I can't wait for you guys to hear.
Yeah.
They were all amazing episodes. They were so much fun.
Yeah.
And those will be starting in January. But for right now, we have 2 episodes left. Today, you have a topic.
Yep.
And then next week, I will have a topic.
Yep.
And then we're going to forget how to do this for a while.
I don't think we're going to forget. It's only like 3 weeks, right?
It's just going to feel like a long time.
Oh,
3
okay.
The way the internet works, 3 weeks is a
3 weeks.
lifetime.
Do you remember what happened 3 weeks ago on the internet?
No.
Tell me what was trending 3 weeks ago on TikTok.
I just realized quite recently that the submarine 5 months ago.
That's crazy.
The billionaire sub was 5 months ago. And since that moment, I'm like, time doesn't matter anymore. Like, time doesn't matter.
Oh, we should make like a...
Do you know that...
We should make a billionaire submarine Christmas tree ornament, and we'll use like an old toilet paper roll.
Ooh.
Because it's all the tubes.
I like that. Do you know that I recently found out Uptown Funk?
Yeah.
Came out, I think it was like around 10 years ago. It's been like a decade of Uptown Funk.
Don't ever tell me that again.
It's been a while.
How dare... I remember when that song came out.
Gangnam Style?
Yeah.
Don't even want to know.
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
That didn't affect my dancing at weddings as much.
Now, on the last episode, I did make a little boo-boo.
What was it?
And I threw out something a little early that I usually don't want to throw out that early.
What is that?
Which is that we have a stretch goal for our Patreons.
Oh, you actually did it on the book club episode.
Yeah, on the book club episode that we just did for Thanksgiving. It's a special edition, very crazy cannibal book that you read at me.
Yeah.
And I said that we have a stretch goal because so many people said we loved how much you read the Horny Fairy book. What do we have to do to get you to read book 2 of the Horny Fairy book?
Yeah.
Where apparently soup is ruined.
I don't know what that means, and that
A lot of
concerns
people keep
me.
saying like you don't want to know what they do to soup.
What
well,
could
I need
you possibly
to know.
do to soup?
I can think of some things.
I don't want.
It's definitely not soup for the family.
No, oh no, the soup for my family.
Yeah, the soup for my family.
I made soup this week. I made chili.
You did.
Chili's a soup, right?
I
feel like it's a soup.
People who do it wrong, it's a soup.
Oh wow.
I feel like chili is chunkier than that. I feel like there's more things in
It's
chili.
almost like a stew.
I will give it stew. I'll give chili a stew, but I will not call chili a soup.
Okay.
But
I feel like
soup.
it's on the soup menu, though. If you go to a restaurant, it's going to be under soup.
But here's the thing. If using the soup for my family reference, I feel like that's more liquid than that has actual base. Because I feel like if you're using soup for your family,
Yeah.
that to get the heft for it,
Yeah.
you want it to be mostly water in there.
Yeah.
Like a Campbell's.
Well, you're not going to use a Progresso. You're not going to use a Chicorini.
No, absolutely
No,
not.
you're going to use the 50-cent. Actually, honestly, like a can of corn makes a lot more sense.
Corn for my family.
Corn from my family.
Okay, that means something different
no,
online.
they can't use it.
Family corn is very weird.
Whoa.
Did you watch the Macy's Day Parade?
I mean, I watched it with you a little bit.
A little bit. But yeah, they had a whole corn thing.
There was a corn thing?
There was a whole 3-minute corn thing.
Weird.
There's like a corn musical,
What?
but not corn with a K.
Oh,
Because that would make sense.
That would be really funny, actually.
Yeah, if
I'd
you
go
went
see
and
that
saw
musical.
Freak on a Leash, the corn musical, I would 100% go see that.
I'd go see that too.
Just to hear
right
someone
after
with,
Mean Girls.
well, just to hear somebody with Broadway vocals, be like, boom, because remember when we saw, what was the one, Rock of Ages?
Yeah.
You took me to see Rock of Ages,
Yeah.
and the one thing I didn't like about it was Broadway stars sing in a different way.
A very specific way.
Than a rocker. Like a rocker sings in a way to blow out the vocals. They know they only get about 10, maybe 15 years out of it. They aren't doing it. But Broadway people are singing in a way to sing 3 to 4 times a day.
Yeah.
They're trying to save that voice. Not me. Burn out live in front of me. That's what I want my musicians to do as they sing. So when somebody is singing a Rock of Ages song, and I feel it's going to be the same way with Korn. I feel like when somebody is getting up there singing some classic music from Korn.
Yeah. Okay,
You
but
know?
there is no corn musical with a K.
No, it's Korn. It's a musical about corn.
I don't even understand.
I think it's Nebraska. I don't know. But anyway, there was a whole thing, or they were holding up ears of corn, and one guy did a jerk off with it. It was weird.
What?
Listen, I just saw clips of it. I didn't watch the whole fucking thing.
I was like, okay, wow.
There was times I was like, I had it on. I put it on because I was like, let me see this stupid thing. I watch it every year, and every year you're like, why do you watch this? I'm like, so I can get mad at it.
Oh yeah, you do like making yourself upset.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway,
What was I doing?
you were making deviled eggs.
Oh yeah, and then I took a nap.
Yeah, you were running around and you were getting last minute stuff before we took stuff over to your parents because
We needed Fresca.
yes, we did need Fresca. Because
People that know, you need Thanksgiving. You need a Fresca.
well, here's the thing, and this has become clear to me over the years, which is that my mom's from the South, and she believes everyone in the North does Thanksgiving wrong
Okay.
because in her world, nobody brings anything. You come to Thanksgiving. Everything is being provided for the guests. That's the whole idea. Is it's Thanksgiving, but in the Northeast, in the greater Northeast, and this is literally from Maine, I feel like all the way out to Ohio, going down to maybe to almost about the Maryland area.
Yeah.
It's a potluck.
Yeah.
Everybody brings a couple things. It's all the people coming
Everybody's
together.
got their thing.
Yeah, but my mom is not that way.
Yeah, I know.
And so I'm still getting
I
used-
know because the first time we ever went to Thanksgiving at your house, I showed up with the deviled eggs,
Yeah, and everyone was really mad at
and
you.
I was like, "But this is my thing."
Yeah, and
this is
then-
my thing.
And then we had their deviled eggs, and then
And
they had
then what
your deviled egg,
happened?
and
then
now
what
you
hap-
bring the deviled
Then
eggs.
we bring the deviled eggs.
Oh, we went to a thing a couple months ago where someone else made the deviled eggs, and I almost divorced my own family.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was so bad.
I don't know why they were powdery. I don't understand.
It was the worst deviled egg I've ever had in my life. But I'm not talking about your deviled eggs.
No, not mine.
No. I'm talking about the people who raised me's deviled eggs. They don't know how to make them.
No.
And I've realized, there were certain foods I thought I hated, and it turned out they just didn't know how to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts was high on that list.
Well, they changed Brussels sprouts.
No,
Anyway,
okay.
Listen, we're on a whole thing. The
Well-
stretch goal is...
Oh, right, ACOTAR.
Yes.
The second book.
If you guys want me to read the second Horny Fairy book, we need to reach 750 Patreons.
Yeah.
We are currently at about 500 plus, which is what reached the first one. So if we're going to keep down the Horny Fairy book, we want more people to sign on up.
I saw an amazing comment on our Patreon. Somebody said that they're going to start getting people into their downline just so that they can, forcing their friends and family to listen to the podcast so they can get them to sign up to be a Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's a great plan.
And that also is going to lead to some changes in these Patreon tiers. Because I said that's regional manager, and you said they don't call them regional managers.
Oh,
They
yeah,
call
no,
them,
I looked it up. I looked up a different, I don't know. I don't
it
have
was
it in front of me.
market something, right? Wasn't it
A
market
market leader.
Market leader.
Market leader.
Yeah, market leader.
Yeah.
That might be a new tier. Who knows?
I looked it up under the I don't know how to say it. It's the hair MLM. They
Okay.
sell shampoo.
Yeah.
And then they got sued because people's hair kept falling out.
Oh, yeah. Nothing like a hair pyramid scheme. Which, by the way, you still want me to start. But we'll get into that after we greet some of our new team leaders.
Hey, hon, let's meet our team leaders.
All right, so we have about 12 this week.
Let's go.
Baba to bebop, that feels pretty good.
Yep.
Up first, we have Broken Carrot.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have It's Bratina, Betch.
Hey, hon.
And they have a lot of,
I like
you can see a lot of hearts.
I love it.
And emojis and other fun things that
It's
are
Bratina,
floating around
bitch.
there. I love it so much. And then
What did you do?
The page crashed, and I just had to go fix something really fast. So let me get back to these. But It's Bratina, Bitch is amazing. I've also seen them actually already commenting on stuff.
Okay.
And just to let you guys know, we don't always read all the comments on Patreon, but we see them.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're giggling to each other about them. But, that's just how it goes. After that, we have Moogs.
Moogs. Hey, hon.
Please read Akamoff.
Oh, that must be the second one.
That's the second one.
That's the second one.
Yeah, that's the second book. After that, we have Michael Brooks.
Hey, Mike.
After Mike, we have Mia.
Hey, Mia.
After Mia, we got a long one.
Okay.
Allison, the transgender bisexual mermaid hunter.
Hey, Allison.
That's
hey,
an
hon.
amazing name.
Listen, she liked that book.
We've recently been having like talks about changing some small things here on the show.
Mm-hmm.
One of which being the mermaid that's like our current show image.
Yeah.
It's a merman, actually.
Yeah, it's Merman.
And when we were talking to someone about it, like, why is there a merman there? And we were like, it's deep lore.
Deep lore. You got to go back. Yeah, listen to book clubs.
After that, we have B. After that, we have Jamie Klinger.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Horny Elf.
Hey, hon.
We know why you're here.
Yeah.
We know why you're here, you little freak. After that, see, this is, and here's the thing: when we set the stretch goal on the recent
Book club
episode,
Mm-hmm.
there was actually a mess up with the recording, and then I was like, then you actually asked me like a couple hours later, like, did we say it on that recording? Or was it on the prior one? We were fixing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it was on it. This is how we knew. When we saw this Patreon name came in,
Yeah.
we knew instantly, like, oh, we definitely announced the stretch goal.
Yeah.
We don't need to listen back.
I was like, guess what? Guess who's going to have to buy that book?
Yep.
Because he has to buy them so he can put notes in them because he can't return them to the library.
This Patreon, here _2 reach _750 _4 horny fairy book number 2.
Let's go. Hey, hon.
Yeah, that's a long one.
I love it. All the underscores, too.
So many. They definitely have been listening for a while to know to get me on that one. This next one.
Yeah.
Listening to you at work makes me hate my job less.
Oh, that's the best compliment we could ever hear.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
That's the only reason we do this.
Yeah, somebody would be like, oh, I named my baby after you. No. You make me hate my job a little less.
A little less.
Just a little. Not
Listen,
a lot.
I just want people to feel a little bit better at work.
I just want them to feel seen. We have another long one. I'm waiting for it to load because I want to get the whole name.
All right.
Okay, I'm _tired _of _all _these _blue _Nile _ads.
Hey, hon.
I don't know what Blue Nile is.
I don't know what Blue Nile is either.
I gotta look it up.
Hold on. Do you want me to use my computer?
Now it's
You're just so slow.
Yeah, you might as well. I'm gonna get a new computer this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go out with your brother, who is an IT professional, and we're going to pick out a better computer.
Blue Nile. It's saying diamond jewelry?
Oh, you know what? They're probably getting that as one of the programmatic ads if they aren't a Patreon.
Yeah.
But once you are a Patreon, you can both listen to us ad-free through the Patreon app, or you can actually go, there's a download link, I think, on Patreon that people can find that they can then get those through the apps they usually listen to. So through Spotify, through Apple Podcasts, through Google Podcasts, all those different things. If you are a Patreon member, there is a way to actually listen to them through those apps.
This Blue Nile, this is expensive shit, dude.
Well, apparently
I found this diamond hoop earrings, $7,000.
Why are they on our podcast?
That's on the Black Friday sale situation going on.
Well, who are they?
I don't know.
I don't like them. I'm tired of their ads too.
Yeah. Solidarity. Don't listen to Blue Nile ads. This is very expensive.
So that was our Hey Huns. We're taking that break. We did mention that earlier.
Yes.
So we're excited for that. This has been the beginning of the episode. We literally had a meeting and people we were talking to was like, you have to make your intros shorter. This is
How are we doing?
This is one of our longest intros in history.
Yeah. We're doing great.
We're doing terrible when it comes to following any direction. I love it.
Yeah.
And I love you.
I love you too.
Let me go.
Let's break all the rules.
Okay. Cut my hand.
Okay.
You want to go do a commercial break for our listeners who aren't Patreon?
Yeah, we have to.
Let's go hit that. And when we come back, you're going to tell me about what?
Burts Bees.
Burts Bees.
Yeah.
Burts Bees what?
I'm going to tell you about Burt.
Burt?
Yeah.
From Burts Bees?
That's what I'm saying.
Pearlmania, 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 Pearlmania 500.
And we're back. So, Mrs. P.
Yep.
You did some research this week.
Yeah.
On Burt's Beeswax.
No, so here's what happened.
Okay.
So when you're pregnant, there's a lot of stuff that goes on.
Yeah, I noticed.
That nobody tells you about.
Like what?
Until it's too late.
Name one.
I don't want to. I don't want to talk about it on here.
Because that's why nobody ever does.
Nobody wants to know about things that are happening. They're terrible things that no one tells you until it's too late.
Yeah.
And they go, oh yeah, by the way, this terrible thing's going to happen to you. And you need to prepare yourself. So I've been preparing myself.
You know who has been preparing us?
Who?
That crazy lady.
What are you talking about?
In the What to Expect app.
Oh, yeah, she's
We've never really talked about that, but for those of you guys who don't know, there's an app out there called like What to Expect.
Yeah.
And each week, every Sunday, we watch the video of like, this week, this is what to expect. This is what your baby's going through. This is what your body. And she's very cheery, but she then proceeds to be like, yeah, you know, your baby's grown hair. Also, your colon is shrunk to the size and now you can only rabbit shit. And you're like, what? She'd be like, hey, you might be diabetic now.
Basically, she projects what's going to happen in the week ahead to you.
Yeah.
But
what's
she's
most
always projecting the worst case scenario for the parent. Because it's just like, she's like, the baby is opening their eyes and they can see light if you were to put a flashlight to your tummy. Isn't that great? Also, by the way, you're not going to be able to feel your arms anymore. You're just like, what the fuck?
This week, both sections of the baby's brain have finally separated to two separate hemispheres, creating a personality.
Yeah.
Also, your credit score will plummet. You're like, what the fuck?
She's
also
psychotic.
But also, she's using very specific language, right? Because it's there's a few things in there. Is one, she does mention like if you're having a boy, this, if you're having a girl, this.
Yeah.
But she really tries to keep it non-gendered because she's trying to reach the biggest audience.
Yeah.
But she also knows that there's a lot of single moms out there.
Mm-hmm.
So she's never talking about like a partner. She's just like, moms, and this is what you're going through. And meanwhile, I'm sitting next to you just like, this is horrific.
It's horrible.
I would not listen. We would have gone. That weekend would have been a lot different all them months ago if I knew you would go through this.
Anyway, so because of that, I have been ordering many lotions.
A lot of lotions.
For different things.
Yep.
You need different lotions for different things. I'm not going to get into it. But one of the lotions that I was looking at is nipple creams. And everybody is talking on the internet. It's like, which ones are the best nipple creams? Everybody has big opinions about nipple creams.
Okay.
And see?
I feel like it's weird that you were like, I'm like, okay, well, I guess she definitely, when you're like, I don't want to get into what these lotions are. I'm like, she don't want to talk about her nipple cream. And then you're like, nipple creams. I'm like, what lotion is left that isn't weird to talk about?
Well, anyway, so when I was looking up nipple creams.
Stop saying it.
No.
Just say creams.
No.
Creamy, dreamy.
Burts Bees kept coming up, and like they're like a well-known maker, right?
Yeah.
And then I was reading, because again, I'm reading all these reviews about everything now because I read too many reviews about everything I purchased at this point. And I started reading an article about Burt from Burts Bees, and then I got sucked into a hole about Burts Bees, and now I need to tell you about.
You went down a bee hole?
I went down a beehive.
Okay.
And
there are some bees that do holes in the ground.
Yeah, they're scary. They're the scary kind.
Yeah.
You don't want to step on those kind.
Yeah, what are they called? Are they like land bees?
I don't know, but they're the ones that if you step on them, their hive, they get real mad at you.
What's your least favorite bee?
A spelling bee.
I was going to say carpenter bees, but all right.
No, they're fine.
I hate carpenter. We have a fence, and they keep destroying it.
Whatever.
All right.
Okay.
You're not the one who deals with them.
Okay. Wow. So yeah, I fell down this hole researching Burt's Bees because then I just started researching the man himself, not the different ointments and waxes he makes. So I wanted to tell you all the things I learned about him.
Okay, all the things about Burt Bees.
Yeah. So we need to be interested.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Can I hit this button?
What is it?
You know the one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's our no Nazi guarantee.
I'm very excited
Yeah?
because Burt's Beeswax feels like a thing where there should be Nazis,
No.
right? Because it's like holistic. Like Burt's Bees originally was being sold as like kind of like this non-GMO.
Yep.
It's natural beeswax, natural. It has a Maine component to it.
Yep.
And whenever I think Maine, because of Dana Carvey, I always think of Nazis.
Okay.
They had a sketch called Maine Nazis, and it's Stephen Colbert.
Okay.
And was it Steve Carell or somebody else? But it was on the David Spade show. Not David Spade, Dana Carvey show, which was on
Okay.
ABC. And it's these two, one of them is Steve Carell and another guy, and they're skinheads
Okay.
in Maine, and they're just whittling stuff while sitting on a porch in Maine with thick Maine accents, like complaining about what Nazis complain about.
Okay.
So for me, even though most Nazis live in Idaho, in my head, Maine still has like enough of a Nazi population that's funny.
So I'm going to read this first sentence.
Okay.
Ingram Berg Shavitz was born to a Jewish family and raised in Great Neck, New York, which is Long Island.
Okay, so yeah, that definitely works. Okay.
Ingram Berg Shavitz, he changed his name to Burt in 1953 after he finished high school. Because he wanted to... Okay, basically, Burt Ingram, he was like a beatnik, okay? He's like a hippy-dippy beatnik kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he decides after he leaves high school that he's going to move to New York City. He's going to go to Manhattan.
Okay.
And he's going to follow his dreams of being a photographer.
Okay.
And he was. He did all this photography. Also, he like joined the military for a minute. I couldn't find anything about his service other than he joined the army. Then he was no longer in the army.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like he popped in and out or
Did it
he
say
got...
what year he joined the army?
It would have been right after high school. So like 54.
Okay. So there's that edge of like the Korean War.
Yeah.
You have the edge of that there. But there was this weird period in like from the late 40s into the 50s where people were still coming in and out of the military because of how many people we had stationed in Europe and in Japan. So there was like a big need for it. And so a lot of people did military service back then.
Yeah.
That did not actually mean they did combat or anything else.
Yeah.
Or he could have just stayed in Iowa.
Yeah, I just think Iowa.
No, you know, I mean, like they stay on a base and like they just work there.
Yeah.
He's the guy who peels potatoes, or they always need a barber. Like there's all these roles in the military that do not involve shooting people or being in active combat situations. We just
I
don't
just
think
couldn't
about that.
find anything about his military service other than it existed and then it didn't.
He probably was just in there for a GI Bill for a minute.
And so, but he did move to Manhattan and
Okay.
he took many photographs. And he did become, like an actual photographer. He has famous pictures of African American Muslim rallies, and the Bowery drug dealers are his most, I guess, iconic images he took.
Okay.
And they appeared in Time and Life magazines.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, he was doing all of this, traveling in New York in his 20s, having the time of his life. However, in the 70s, in 1970, one day he realized he fucking hated living in New York.
I get that.
And, quote, he didn't want to grow old in a dingy apartment and decided to pack up and head to the country. And that's how he ended up in Maine.
Okay.
So, again, I think he was like based on like the images I was looking at, he was like that 60s, 70s beatnik, like very much of that, you know, black turtleneck, snappy snap vibe.
Yeah.
While he was in New York. And then when he kind of went to Maine, he became what they would call like a peacenik. So like the hippy dippy beatnik.
Well, when you look at an image of him that's on any of the cans or the tubes, like you see Burt, he's got that floppy 70s hat on.
Yeah.
He's got the big hair. He has the bushiest beard possible.
You're just describing yourself right now.
Okay, yeah, I mean, he's a handsome man who deserves a lot of kisses.
So he moves up to Maine, and I literally wrote a note. He grows out his hair and beard because he was like kind of like a clean shaven guy for a bit there. But then once he got to Maine and he was living his best like a hippy dippy life,
Yeah.
he just like let it grow. He was like, whatever.
Let it grow. Let it grow.
And so here's the thing: is the thing is there's his story, and what is said on like the Burts Bees websites, and then there's maybe the truth, right? So there's always going to be a parallel for information.
Yeah.
So his story, he's like, I'm going to Maine and I'm going to start like a chill lifestyle and like live off the land. However, he didn't put on the marketing materials that he actually inherited a ton of money from his grandfather.
Oh.
And so when he got this inheritance, that's when he moved to Maine. So I feel like he was just like, bet. Like, we're done. We're going to Maine. We're chilling. We got this money.
Which is how he could work as a photographer probably as well.
Yeah.
Because like I'm looking, it took me a minute to find his photos on Google Images.
Yeah.
I finally typed in Burt Shabbat's photos.
Yeah.
Which still will show you photos of Burt Shabbat's.
Yeah.
But some of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
But like these, it's here's one of the Statue of Liberty with like trash in front of it.
Yeah.
And seagulls from like a trash barge, things like this. But it's like, rallies. There's one of Malcolm X. There's all these different paintings. But like a lot of these, like they're good photos, but I don't feel like at the time there was a lot of newspapers clamoring for these.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of the sale point for these of who would end up buying a lot of them.
Well, it was time in life.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like he's not going to get a ton from that.
Yeah.
Because the images that are coming up are of a very specific thing.
So he gets the money from his grandpa. He moves to Maine and he buys a 400 square foot turkey coop.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No running water or electricity.
Okay.
And that's where he moves into. He moves into a 400 square foot turkey coop. And if you look it up, since you're Googling things.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
You
images.
can find it. It is a piece of icon. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's the
it.
turkey coop he lived in.
There's a picture of him sitting in front of it.
Yep.
It looks like a tiny house from the tiny house.
Yeah. It does look like Tiny House from HGTV.
Yep.
But that is a turkey coop that he renovated. And again, didn't have running water or electric.
Just like a tiny house on HGTV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I think those people, they have millions of dollars to spend on tiny homes.
Yeah.
We don't watch HGTV.
No.
TV.
But
it's sitting in the waiting room.
Every now and then we'll see one. I'm always like, fuck you. I just scream at them.
Remember, we were watching one.
But they had 3 kids and a dog.
Yeah, there was I was thinking of the one. It was like the lady was pregnant, and it was a loft style bed with a ladder.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What are you talking about? Danger!" And then she was like, "I love it." And I was like, "This is crazy."
I saw one because one thing you don't think about with the loft style beds like that, is waking up and like sitting up. Like you can't.
No, you have to roll
because of the way it's designed. It's like crazy, and like I never really thought about it until I saw a TikTok from somebody who had a loft style bed like that.
Yeah.
And then they just showed getting out of it.
It's a nightmare. I used to have an apartment back in the day that had a loft style bed like that,
where the ceiling was like kind of low.
Yeah, it was like I only had like maybe 3 feet above my head. It was like sleeping in one of those like Japanese little thingies.
Yeah, one of the the pill hotel.
Yeah,
type
like
of
those
deals.
things, but you just come in sideways.
Cubby hotel.
And I think for the first month I lived there, I definitely hit my head every day.
Yeah, I think I would have. I think I would. I don't think I could do it.
And also, you couldn't like
it
close have company.
Yeah,
it was like this.
Yeah,
not conducive. To
you
company.
have one position, side saddle. All right.
So anyway,
back to Burts Bees.
Back to Burts Bees.
After we talk about loft sex.
That's when you go to the Antler Loft and you buy a sexy cardigan, and then you have sex in it.
All right, so he's living in a turkey coop.
So this I put in italics for myself. This is a quote. One day, while gathering firewood, Shabbat's came across a fence post surrounded by a swarm of bees. He'd previously been gifted an empty beehive, so the encounter was, as he put it, an act of God. From there, Shabbat's would cultivate several other hives, foster the honey and wax, and well, the rest is history.
I feel like there's missing a couple steps there.
That is a quote from the Burts Bees story.
Yeah.
He comes across bees.
Yada, 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 $1 billion.
Yeah.
That's how they basically...
He said he came across bees. Someone had just gifted him an empty beehive. What more likely happened is, he had the finances. He started, building beehives. One thing that I did find was true was he did start having multiple beehives that he was caring for, and they kept getting robbed. People kept stealing from them. So I don't know if they were stealing bees or stealing honey.
Or is he at war with Winnie the Pooh? Old Burt up there. My thought process is my first thought is that one, he's a lonely old man living in a turkey coop.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's no wife, no kids, right?
He's not old at this point.
He's not old. Okay. So he's a lonely. In my head, he's eternally old.
I know. So we got to remember he's sort of young now.
He's like kind of what, like late 30s?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe he's just like up there and he's just like, I'm just so lonely. And then he finds some bees. He's like, my bees. And then like some teens show up and they're skateboarding or something. They're being loud. They're teens. And then his next thought is just like, how do I keep the teens away? And then the teens are like, oh no, bees. He's like, the bees are my friends. The only people I have are bees.
This
and
sounds like a horror movie.
Yeah, no, but maybe he's just like the old man from Home Alone, right? He's just lonely.
Got it.
And he seems dangerous, but in reality, he's really nice to bees.
So I thought this was funny because people had stolen some of the bees or honey or something. Somehow he was robbed about the bees. So he started marking all of his beehives in paint, and he would write Burts Bees on the side of the beehives.
Okay.
Which is where the name actually came from.
Okay.
Because he would just write his name really big on the side of the beehives, Burts Bees.
Yeah.
And so he did end up developing a reputation among the locals because he was selling gallons of honey out of his truck. So he would like get all the honey, put it into little jars and gallons, whatever, and then he would just drive into the main areas and sell honey out of his truck.
So here's the thing. Mm-hmm. You're describing a lunatic. But also in my head, there is a different world here.
Yeah.
Where Burt's Bees and the Pickle Man are the same dude.
We cannot explain the Pickle Man to the listeners of this podcast.
The Pickle Man. Y'all.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Wait.
Imagine trying to explain the Pickle Man to somebody.
Hold on. Pickle Man Philadelphia. Because I want to make sure that if you Google Pickle Man Philadelphia, his image will come up.
With his Rod Stewart ass wig.
Yeah. Let's see.
The Pickle Man.
Okay.
You're looking him up.
I'm looking him up. I just want to see that the image of him comes up. Oh no. It's like he's been wiped from history.
Amazing.
Oh no. Okay. Wait, hold on. Pickle Man.
I think he died.
I don't think he did. I think he's got cockroach energy. Okay, he's the first thing that comes up. Okay, when you go on the internet, I need you all to Google Pickle Man Philadelphia. That's how I put it in. And you will see the images of him. He comes up in the top 3. He is a man who wears a Rod Stewart wig. And he used to sell pickles in Philadelphia. He'd sell them to all the restaurants. It was Zeta's Pickles.
Homemade
pickles.
pickles.
Fucking delicious.
They're homemade pickles.
They were so good. They were the best. And so he would ride his bicycle to many different restaurants around Philly. And in the back of his bike, he had all of his pickles that he made. Alex is dying laughing. The very funny thing about his bicycle, and I don't know if there's images online of it, is that he removed the seat of the bicycle and put a toilet there. So this man in a Rod Stewart wig with a backpack of pickles would show up at our restaurant once a month and sell the restaurant pickles for like the hamburgers and stuff, but also all the staff would end up buying them too.
He also used to do stand-up comedy, and he would often do stand-up at open mics I was at, and it was some of the worst stand-up you ever had. But when you Google him, when you type in Pickle Man Philadelphia, the first result is Pickle Man hospitalized after stabbing from 2015 because someone stabbed him in the neck.
Because he owed him cocaine, right?
Yeah.
It was like a cocaine fight. Yeah. Because the Pickle Man notoriously did so much cocaine. Allegedly.
Don't laugh so hard that you get hurt. You've been having this thing where you laugh so hard now that like it hurts the baby.
It doesn't hurt the baby,
but it hurts you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You're like, but you always grab your stomach.
So yeah, the Pickle Man.
No, but so imagine that, like that's the thing is that's the energy I'm bringing to Burt. But Burt to me is a combination of the Pickle Man and an old hippie who's seen too much.
Yep.
So he comes out, he's like, oh, someone been stealing my honey, but you can get it at a steal of a price.
God, the Pickle Man. I've thought about him forever.
I know, but that's just when I picture.
No, that's it's a great image.
Yeah.
Of Burts Bees. I was picturing him as a little bit more friendly. I did watch interviews with him when I was doing this research.
Yeah.
And by research, I mean going down a weird rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And he is like. Now he's like a crotchety old man.
Yeah.
And it's very funny. He doesn't have Pickle Man energy. Pickle Man.
No. Pickle Man energy is his own thing. I just meant in general
Pickle
the vibes
Man is
of
gonna
somebody.
sell you a jar of pickles and then be like, "You want to go to Atlantic City tonight?"
Here's the thing: there's a thing about buying food out of someone's trunk that has a level of outlaw weirdness to it.
Yeah, I love it.
So like buying honey, buying pickles from a man on a toilet
The fruit
bike.
guy. The fruit guy. You didn't grow up where I grew up.
Yeah.
Growing up, there was a guy who would drive around in a truck every Sunday afternoon.
Well, there was in South Philly. There were places, and you get this in a lot of cities.
Oh, the crabs people with the shopping carts full of
Well,
crabs.
there's the crab guys.
Oh, I
Listen,
love the
when I
crab.
lived in that Cambodian neighborhood, and there was a guy knock on my door, and he had a bucket of crabs.
Yeah.
Like, you want 3? And I was like,
Yes.
no. I was
You're
like,
an
get
idiot.
out of
You're
here.
a fool.
I don't care. I was like, I'm not. Number one, I'm not feeling crab right now. I wasn't in a crabby mood.
Okay.
And number two, I don't know where this just came from. You just show up and you got a bucket of crabs?
Yeah.
How did this even happen?
Don't ask questions like
And the
that.
dudes,
What
yeah.
was, there was like probably $5.
Listen, I don't know. It was wild, but there's something crazy about it. It feels similar though to people who buy like food online from people who do not have certifications in how they serve food.
Okay, I
'Cause that's a big thing that's happening online right now. There's like the pink lady sauce.
Oh, the
pink sauce lady.
The pink sauce. Ugh.
Yeah, where it's like people were getting like food poisoning from it.
Yeah.
There's all these certain ways like how you ship it and all those things where I'm like, there's a reason we have an FDA.
Yeah. See, and I'm like,
But then the Pickle Man
I would
shows
never
up.
buy the pink sauce from the online lady.
Yeah.
But the man that used to ride his toilet seat bicycle
Yeah.
with pickles,
You
I
might get
bought
the good pickles.
I bought those Zadar's pickles every time.
But what I'm saying though is that with him and Burt, there's a little bit of that. It's like, well, it's he couldn't have driven that far. Do you know what I mean? Like
he's close enough that the cops can be called.
No, but also he's close enough to the source that I
Yeah.
feel like the source hasn't rotted on its way to me.
Yeah.
You know, versus some of these people they want to go immediately from like local thing. A couple people buy the pink sauce to something they're like trying to ship to Alaska, and you're
Yeah.
like, why are people doubling over dead?
Well,
Well,
they don't have preservatives at their home.
You also don't have a national logistics supply chain,
yeah.
which I'm sure we're gonna zippity doo dah right to Burt having that.
So selling gallons of honey on the side of the road, like a normal person, not like a weirdo, like a normal guy, just selling gallons of honey. Chaffetz picks up a hitchhiker one day, and I'm thinking he picked up way more than one hitchhiker in his lifetime. But he picks up this hitchhiker. Her name's Roxanne Quimby. She's a single mother of 2 boys. This is in 1984. He picks her up. They fall in love.
Okay.
So he falls in love with this hitchhiker lady.
I don't like any of this. I'm just like, I'm very uncomfortable that there's just this old grizzled man.
He's
who's
not
like,
that old now.
He is now.
In 84? Yeah, he's kind of old.
He's gonna be on the older side, right? Because you said he was in the war in the 50s.
He graduated
30
high school in 54.
It's 30 years later.
So yeah, okay.
So he's 48.
He picks up a lady,
He's-
Roxanne.
Teenagers keep stealing my bees. Get in my truck.
He
You can be
meets-
my new queen, Roxanne.
He meets Roxanne, and they become romantic partners.
Bosom buddies.
Which again, I cannot co-sign. Number 1, don't hitchhike. Number 2, don't pick up a hitchhiker. And number 3, you do not fall in love with the hitchhiker you picked up.
All right, I'm going to push back on every point you just made.
Okay,
Number
go ahead.
1, we got to bring back hitchhiking.
Yeah.
I think the fact that everybody believes they need to own their own vehicle is what's destroying America.
Okay.
Number 2, we should be picking up more hitchhikers. How are you going to have fun stories if you're driving alone? Mm-hmm. How are you going to use the HOV lane? It's high occupancy vehicles.
Okay.
Get 2 hitchhikers.
There you go.
Put them in the back seat. Free show as you're driving.
Perfect.
Okay. Number 3, fall in love with the hitchhikers.
Okay.
Yes, immediately. First thing they do when they sit down in the car, lock the doors, tell them you love them. That way they feel safe.
That definitely feels safe.
Yeah.
That's what happened to the Tiger King gal. Remember?
What?
The lady from Tiger King. She said she was hitchhiking on the side of the road.
Oh, and then she met the lady who Tiger King accuses of killing her own husband.
They found him. He's alive.
Yeah,
He was just smearing her name.
Yeah. But
How do we not remember her name?
It was
Carol Baskins.
Carol Baskins.
Okay, so they fall in love and they become romantic partners. And
Please call them bosom buddies.
Bosom buddies.
No, with Z's. You got to add the Z's.
Bosom buddies.
Don't roll your eyes as you say it.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I
roll
hope
my
they
eyes.
heard how hard you rolled your eyes.
And in the early days of the relationship, they fall deeply, deeply in love.
Yeah.
He in different interviews talks about like he was super madly in love with her.
And she's like, I'm living with a man who lives in a turkey coop.
Yeah.
No running water.
So
My kids love it.
yeah, her twins love it. So then, but like, okay, so they were in love. but I want to give you a little flash to the future, which is that he had a quote where he said when they became business partners, because that's going to mold a little, they're going to become business partners. And he said he did love her, but, quote, she was man hungry, and she and I fed the hunger. Damn.
What does that mean?
Listen.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but that was his main quote about their relationship.
Wait, does that mean he was giving her the... Mm-hmm. She got the full stinger from Burts Bees?
Oh, no. So...
He's like, I'm going to give you the wax and the honey.
Here's the thing. Burt was big into honey. Burt's selling the honey.
No shit.
He's big into honey.
No shit.
So I think what happens is, based on like the information, Burt starts encouraging Roxanne to use the leftover beeswax.
Okay.
In like, I feel like a hobby sort of way. So he gives her these books, like Farmer's Almanac books that he has, that have recipes for lip balm and candles and all this stuff on like how to use leftover beeswax. Mm-hmm. And so Roxanne starts doing that. She starts making candles. She starts making lip balm, all this stuff from the Farmer's Almanac recipes. And when they go into town and they're selling the honey, she starts selling the candle she's making. Okay. Because again, they are hippies. They are living off the land. They're just like using their bee sources and then using that as income.
Yeah.
What happens is the lip balm specifically becomes their hero product. Everybody's talking about it.
What do you mean by hero product?
It's what everybody in Maine knew them for.
Okay.
Nobody cared about the honey anymore. Nobody cared about the candles. It was like, yo, have you heard about this lip balm?
Yeah.
It's the best lip balm.
Okay.
And so word spread. People started coming from all around to buy the Burts Bees lip balm. And I don't know if I know what it is, but it's just a minty lip balm made with beeswax.
No, I mean,
it's
I know what it is. There's also like multiple ways it's being sold.
Yeah.
I would like to take a brief aside right here.
Okay, go ahead.
And just let everybody know that for me, I'm from a Chapstick family.
Okay.
You're from a Burts Bees family. Uh-huh. You guys love the Burts Bees. You guys use my family, solely Chapstick brand Chapstick. Mm-mm. It was the only thing. And we only had two choices.
Okay.
You had the black, which was the classic Chapstick.
Yeah,
and then the blue, which was medicated.
You didn't even get the cherry one?
No, we never got the cherry one.
Oh, my God.
The cherry one, that's for children.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's cherry-flavored Chapstick. We had the plain, which is just petroleum jelly in a tube.
Oh, God.
And then you had the medicated from when you forgot to put on the Chapstick during really cold days.
Yeah.
And now, don't really need to use any of them because global warming has ruined the conditions where you don't get chapped lips in Pennsylvania anymore.
Okay, so... Yes, we didn't use chapstick in my household.
No,
we used many other types of balm.
You guys used all sorts of different stuff, but I feel like especially by the late 90s, you guys were probably, especially knowing like your aunts and your family, you guys were probably 100% on the Burts Bees train.
Yeah.
I also knew like by the late 90s, you could kind of tell out here in the suburbs of like who was bougier.
Yeah.
Because like all they had was Burts Bees. Mm. And then, because it used to be, but they had the can first.
It was a
tin. And then eventually they finally came out with the roller.
Yeah.
They were like $3 versus like Chapstick was like $1. Mm-hmm. So it was always like, whatever. But then you'd try it and you're like, oh, I get it.
It's better.
Yeah, you'd feel a little zing.
Yeah. But also, I think I've had Chapstick before and it actually dries out my lips, so I don't use it.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I sound like a snob now.
Now?
Wow. So they fully become a business at this point. Their romance is becoming business partners, and they began selling a lot of product. They're really growing very quickly.
Rapidly, some would say.
Rapidly. And Roxanne is like, listen, I think we need to make you, Burt, the face of the brand. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Again, in this point in time, it seems like he's just there for the ride.
It feels
like he doesn't care.
He feels 60.
He's making his honey. He's living in his turkey hut. And this lady that he's dating is like, we should put you on the branding. And he's like, yeah, whatever. So
it's like every couple weeks I give her some pipe and then she shuts up. Burts Bees.
Burts Bees. So he agrees to become the face of the company. And she actually hires a professional to take a portrait of him, and then they engraved it.
Yeah.
And so the original image that is still on the stuff today is the original engraved image that was like a press stamp.
Oh, like a wood cutting.
Yeah, exactly. It was like wood cutting. So like they had again hired other hippies to make this
all
engraving.
very hippie. Yeah.
But they still currently use that same image today.
Yeah.
And then the name Burts Bees obviously comes from what he was writing on his beehives.
Yeah.
In 1991, they incorporate the company.
Okay.
So they got together in 84. By 91,
So 7 years.
7 years, this company has grown so much that they have to incorporate.
And let me guess, she steals the company from him.
So,
Am I right? It feels very she steals the company from him. Because I feel like Burt doesn't give a fuck.
but he doesn't give a fuck.
I just want to have my bees.
Is it stealing if he doesn't give a fuck?
That's the thing. I mean, like, I feel like, the same way, what's his guy? Bob, the painter. Bob Ross.
Bob Ross.
Like, his whole legacy was stolen by that couple.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, maybe we'll do that in a future episode.
Maybe, because I only know Bob Ross is the thing I could put on TV to take a nap.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, there's a whole thing after he died. Like, his family actually doesn't get any money from any of the Bob Ross stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. But I feel like it's kind of similar in that way.
Okay, so Burt is content with selling just enough honey and beeswax candles and lip balm to live the lifestyle he's accustomed to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just wants to make enough.
Alone in a turkey coop.
He just
with
wants to be
no
alone in a
power
turkey.
or running water.
Yes. And his dogs and his bees, and that's all he wants.
Yeah.
Okay.
He needs like $50 a year. He needs to cover property tax in Maine.
Yeah.
And then he's good.
Yeah.
If anything, making more money is causing Burt issues.
So he has admitted multiple times in different interviews that he never shared Roxanne's passion for business or business growth. He just doesn't care.
He just likes giving her that stinger.
Okay. So Burt and Roxanne grow further apart as Burt's Bees becomes more and more successful. Because as this is happening, Roxanne is becoming more and more ambitious because she is pushing this company forward. And it's becoming more and more successful. So, like, she's getting all that positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
And he could give a fuck.
Yeah.
And so she's becoming so invested in this.
90s businesswoman with the big shoulder pads.
Yeah.
And the teased hair going into corporate centers. But I represent
I need
Burt.
you to picture that, but Maine. You know?
I hate that.
It's that, but LL Bean. Like, it's not that image. It's different.
A lot of people don't know that I have an ex that was from Maine, so I have a weird hatred of Maine.
He really does.
And
every summer, I'm like, oh my God, do you want to go to a bed and breakfast and go to Maine? And he's like, I don't want to go there. And I'm like, why? It's lovely.
Yeah, no. The thing is I could stay in southern Maine. I just can't go to northern Maine.
Oh my God. Anyway.
The bars are closed at midnight.
What, you don't even go to bars.
I know. It just bothers me. I don't like having the choice taken. I don't like 2 a.m. being taken away from me.
So things come to a head in 1994. So this is 3 years later.
Okay.
When Roxanne decides that she wants to move the company's headquarters to Durham, North Carolina.
That's far from Maine.
Far from Maine.
It also has different tax regulations, which is her reasoning.
That's the reason. So it's funny because when I was looking up stuff about the move, because I was like, what's the incentive for the move? And I thought it was taxes. And she in quotes was just like, it just was a place that was friendlier to business. And I was like, taxes. Got it.
It's taxes, and it was probably also like minimum wage, like how much the in North Carolina especially, the standard of living's lower.
Yeah.
So like the cost of standard of living is lower.
Exactly.
So like you can get a house cheaper, which means you don't have to pay the people as much. And then, hey, we're still selling in Maine. People in Maine are still buying it at Maine prices.
Yeah.
It also puts you closer, Raleigh, Durham especially, puts you closer to some of the major both rail hubs and also to a lot of the highways.
Yeah.
So again, you get more logistical control to start moving things out more.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies
It's
are based in North
honestly a great
Carolina.
business move.
It's very, very smart.
Listen, Roxanne, she's doing research about business.
Burt doesn't give a fuck.
Burt could give a fuck.
I guarantee you, at this point, Burt is afraid of planes. That's what it feels like. I mean,
So yeah, no, you're right. He's terrified of he's not that he's terrified. It's just so much I don't care. Like, and she is so enthusiastic that it's crazy. Do you want to take a little break right now?
yeah, I think we should take a little break.
Okay.
And when we come back,
Okay.
you're going to tell me a little bit more about
What happens in Durham, North Carolina?
what happens in Durham, North Carolina should never be spoken of. I like how I was like, we should make this. We both were like, we got to try and make episodes shorter. And then it's already on track for being a super long
You
episode.
know what? You don't tell me how to live, man.
I'm not telling you how to live. I'm saying we had a conversation about how the episode should be shorter.
Yeah.
Because when we take a look at it, like people stop listening at a certain point because life gets in the way. Hey, I'm listening on the way in, and my commute's a little shorter now. So all these different things.
Okay. Anyway, we're in Durham, North Carolina.
Durham, North Carolina.
And
a nightmare of a place.
A nightmare of a place. And okay, so the next information I have is actually from Roxanne's son, who I pulled some quotes from him. And
is this one of the twins?
One of the twins.
Okay.
St. Clair. Their last names are St. Clair.
Oh, I don't like them already. You didn't tell me that it's Roxanne St. Clair.
No, it's Roxanne Quimby. St. Clair is their father.
I don't like it.
Who wasn't Burt.
I don't like St. Clair. No. St. Clair is
Blair St. Clair?
No. St. Clair feels very soap opera evil coded.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's nobody. If you're watching a movie and someone shows up, what's your name? What's his name again?
The last name is St. Clair.
What's his first name?
I don't know his first name.
You don't know his first name? Okay, we're going to go with Augustus.
Augustus?
My name's Augustus St. Clair. You're evil.
Yeah.
Instantly evil.
Okay. So he says that he had heard from his mother that Burt was not happy working for a large company and that he volunteered to leave.
Okay.
Burt agrees he was unhappy, but not the part about volunteering to leave.
No, he's no, this sucks.
Yeah, he's I hate this.
I just want to be with my bees and my turkey coop.
So here's the thing, is it gets really muddly around this because...
Could you imagine if you're just a twin and then one day your mom starts fucking a man in a turkey coop?
Okay.
And then she gets super into bees and now you're rich?
So here's the thing, is a lot of this breakup I'm telling you about, this, what we now know is going to be a business breakup.
Okay.
Is incredibly controversial from their own saying. They say it was a controversial breakup, but they do not release much, if any, information about it, except for that they say he volunteered to leave.
Mm-hmm.
He says he didn't volunteer to leave. And then there's an issue with Roxanne discovers that Burt is carrying on an affair with one of their younger female employees.
Oh.
And Roxanne, see, this is the thing. Roxanne was quoted as saying she felt it threatened the business. And again, this woman is just business.
Yeah.
Because she's not, I don't think she's mad that Burt's sleeping with somebody else.
No. But
it doesn't seem like that.
This is a Try Guys moment.
Yeah.
This is that bad guy, that guy who sucked from Try Guys.
Yeah.
You can't be boning somebody at the business.
Nope. So, their relationship, business, and as, people that were in a relationship took a very bad turn around this time.
Yeah.
Because Burt is accused of sexual harassment.
Yeah.
At this point. And the thing is it's, again, hard to tell because it's so, they don't say, they didn't publish anything about this, is I couldn't tell if Roxanne said Burt did sexual harassment because the employee, or if the employee said it. And either way, somebody said sexual harassment from Burt.
Yeah.
According to reports, and he's forced out of the company.
Okay.
Because of this.
They stole his bees.
He's given.
It finally happened. His bees have been officially stolen.
He's given a payout of $130,000.
That's it?
50 acres of land and property in Maine.
For Burts Bees, he only got $130,000.
Yep.
Cash. And some more
land up by his turkey hut. They bought him more land.
They bought him some more acres. They took his bees. Gave him 130. What year is this?
94, right? I think
it's 1994. You got $130,000.
Burt claims that Roxanne was upset to learn that he had been sleeping with other women, and that she had given him an ultimatum in response, and that he needed to sign a contract signing over his shares of the company, or else she would take him to court for sexual harassment.
So, I completely understand Burt not understanding that sleeping with someone in the company is wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's a 1950s man.
Yeah. Someone that's not below you in the company. Like someone that you're...
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Somebody you can have power over.
Exactly.
He is the founder.
He's
the face.
His image is on the...
He's literally the face that runs the place.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's how this goes. She's a subordinate. Whoever he sleeps with in the company...
That's the word I was looking for.
Is a subordinate.
Yeah.
Okay?
Except for Roxanne.
Except for Roxanne. That's the only other person where that would not be that relationship.
Yeah.
I can totally see that being it. I can also see why a man like Burt would be like, she's just mad I was fucking somebody else.
Yeah.
And not being like, Burt, you fucking idiot.
And Roxanne's like, I'm trying to get closer to the train lines.
1994 is also around a pivotal time in American business with sexual harassment actually becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Where people understanding like, no, this is a legal risk.
Yeah.
You're putting the entire company at risk. You fucking old crazy man who lives in a turkey coop. I still think $130,000 is that's like when you find out like the lady who designed the Nike swoosh got like $25 and like a vacation day. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those like the company is Burts Bees, and like I don't know. I feel a certain way about it. Well,
don't worry about it.
Why? Because
regardless of what happened, Burt to this day remains bitter.
Of course
he says Roxanne Quimby wanted money and power, and I was just a pillar on her way to success. Damn Burt. So 5 years later,
1999,
Roxanne, sole owner at this point. So she is the majority holder at this point. 5 years later, Burt's out. Burt's back in Maine, right? Back in his turkey hut, more land than ever, having the time of his life.
Just whittling.
She sells Burts Bees to an AEA investors for $173 million. And then it gets sold to the Clorox Corporation for $925 million in 2007. Jesus. Now, she remained the CEO until the Clorox part. So the first original sale, she only gave up some percentage, but she remained the leader.
Yeah. And
then in 2007, they resold, this time to Clorox.
So Burt's Bees is Clorox.
Yeah, it's owned by Clorox.
No, Burt's Bees is Clorox.
Yeah, okay.
I just want people to remember that.
Yeah.
It's not some hippie because it's still like even in 2007.
Yeah.
And even like I remember like right around the time when you and I first started dating and stuff like that and like meeting. I remember it still being sold as all natural and this isn't like all the other ones. All the Chapstick is corporate. Burt's Bees is Clorox.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up down this hole, actually.
Yeah.
It's because I was looking at the different creams.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, this one's natural and this one's this. And then because then I looked at the ingredients and I was like, it doesn't even really have beeswax in it.
Yeah.
It was mostly like coconut oil.
Burt's Bees is just a label now.
And so, and then I was like reading the ingredients and I was like, I really wanted something with lanolin in it. And then it turned out it didn't have lanolin in it. And I was like, this is so weird. And I ended up getting into the ingredients, which is how I ended up down this hole to begin with.
Gotcha. See, that's the reason why I felt so weird. Like when you were like, he got $130,000 because I'm like, I know that there's going to be a lot of money exchanged. And she cashed him out early when he probably didn't see, in his mind, he doesn't see the millions of it. But also, again, as you were saying, he doesn't have a want for this money.
Doesn't give a shit.
It's just so weird.
So it was reported by the Associated Press that after that sale to Clorox, Roxanne Quimby made more than $300 million in that deal.
Woo!
That was just her pull.
This is why you don't pick up hitchhikers, y'all.
You said we were picking them up.
No, now that I know.
You said we were locking the doors and telling them we love them.
Now that I know that you can lose $150 million, because if it was halfsies, it would be $150 million.
Yeah. So after Burt's Bees was sold to Clorox for the $970 million, most people, right, like most business partners might go to court, right? Like if it was me and you, we'd go to court and be like, the fuck, give me some of that Clorox money.
Yeah.
But Burt didn't actually take her to court. She made him an offer and he just took it. So he accepted $4 million. She was like, listen, I know you have the opportunity to sue me about this. Yeah. She knew she was open and liable. And instead of like even letting him file, she was like, what if I give you $4 million? And Burt's like, yeah, sure. So he does make $4 million out of the Clorox. So we're picking up hitchhikers again?
Pick up hitchhikers. Pick up hitchhikers.
Locking the doors. We're picking up hitchhikers
Lock the doors. Tell them you love them. Give them whatever they want.
So he gets the $4 million and he just stays up in his turkey hut.
Yeah, that's
He's not
okay.
doing anything with it.
Listen, hey, you know what? I take back everything I said about the St. Clairs. No, I think no, that's decent. That's fine. Yeah, because he didn't do his face was on some stuff and he collected the initial bees.
Yeah.
He didn't do much. It feels like a crazy bag drop.
Yeah.
To be out $130 million. And by this point, when she gives him the $4 million, he's got to be old as fuck.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going to be able to spend it.
Yeah.
Like I always joke.
And also based
and he
on
also doesn't
everything
want
I read, based on everything I read, Roxanne Quimby did the work.
Yeah.
This isn't they're working equally and then it's we need to split it 50-50. Roxanne put in 80% of this work. Maybe 90.
Yeah.
So I don't even I'm yeah, I guess she deserves her 30 mil. Whatever.
300
mil.
300 mil it's a ridiculous
It's an incredible amount of money.
Yeah.
So Quimby was quoted as saying, everyone associated with the company was treated fairly and in some cases very generously upon the sale of the company and my departure as CEO. And that, of course, includes Burt. So she stated that she took care of everybody that was associated as she stepped down as CEO. Burt was quoted as saying he was more hurt about losing his relationship with Quimby than losing out in the company. But he is actually still, not anymore, but for a long time, even then, even now in this period of time we're talking about in 2007, he is still the spokesperson.
Yeah.
Okay. He's living up in Maine. He's living in Maine. He is not doing anything. He doesn't care, but he's still the spokesperson and he goes out and does brand promotional trips.
Yeah.
And it's very funny because the Clorox company starts paying him to go do promotional things.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
And the thing is that they had a really difficult time getting in touch with him because the Clorox brand spokesperson was quoted as saying, it's incredibly difficult to get in touch with Burt Shavitz for business purposes as he does not have a computer or phone. He goes to his neighbors and they do the interception. So they have to call his neighbor, the closest neighbor, which is 10 miles away, and leave a message. And whenever Burt makes it over to see them that week, they'll get the message from Clorox.
I love that.
He just
imagine spending $975 million and needing to call a crazy old man in a turkey coop. And the thing is I think he's since passed, right?
Yeah.
He was very important because, again, like I said, I knew at some point that there definitely been a brand transplant, but I didn't realize it then. But it was very important, much like Shock Top is to Bud Light. You need to have this other brand so you can still sell to the people that hate your main brand.
Yeah.
You always need to have that secondary one that's around. So when you start to lose the market share over here, you can still hold on to some of it.
Yeah.
And you still have an area where you can show growth to your investors. Be like, when we bought the Burts Bees brand, we did Burts Bees. And now Burts Bees is expanded. And now it's not just lip balm. It's 75 different fucking products. And
Wait,
blah, blah, blah.
can I tell you, I was looking at their products because I went to their page.
Yeah.
They started making protein shakes.
Burts Bees protein shakes?
Yeah, they have protein shakes now.
Is it wax and honey or
no? They're so away from beeswax.
It's so crazy.
There's a whole cosmetics line makeup. There's all kinds of body washes, shampoos, all stuff. But then protein powder. I was like, that's really weird.
See, but that's the thing is with the marketing is you need to, if you have his face on it, it's just like KFC. You have the Colonel's face on it. You have Burt's face on it. People have a certain belief of as long as these guys exist, Dave Thomas from Wendy's.
Yeah.
As long as this living person is there.
Yeah.
They somehow have this superhuman ability to pull the reins of this company to not be evil.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And in some cases, when you have a specific personality that's tied to a company, it can go the opposite way, like Elon and Twitter. Now you look at it and you're both have perverted each other.
Yeah.
But Burt's, when you're oh no, it's Burt's Bees. This is just an old hippie who sells bees.
Lip balm.
He sells honey out of the back of his truck in Maine. No way that he could be part of a multi-billion-dollar international mega corporation that is slowly poisoning people in the Katanga River Valley.
No.
It's
just a nice minty lip balm.
Oh, wait.
Allegedly.
So listen, after all this happens at this point, even though he's the face of the company, he doesn't talk. He really never speaks to Roxanne again.
Okay.
Roxanne again. Sorry,
Yeah.
Roxanne. And his whole thing at this point is he'll go out once in a while when they pay him, but mostly for the rest of his life, he just lives on the countryside, unbothered, doesn't give a shit about anything. He was quoted as saying, "As long as I can put clothes on and get out the door in the morning, I'll be just fine." That was his whole thing.
That sounds about right.
And in July 2015, Burt Shavitz passes away at the age of 80.
Okay. Took him a week to figure it out. Neighbor had to hike over, knock on the door.
Burt, where you been?
Hey, my kid just got a new dog with a bandana on it. You want to see?
Oh, so in his will, he left a 1961 BMW motorcycle with a sidecar to a local man.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's the neighbor. I feel like it must have been the neighbor.
Yeah.
Now, Trevor Folsom, we haven't brought this guy up, but Trevor Folsom is his personal assistant during this time. I think when they were really in the business part of stuff, Mr. Folsom was really involved. And then as he moved back up to Maine, Trevor Folsom becomes like an intermediary. Like he's working as a personal assistant, but like not,
Yeah, it's kind of like you call Trevor. Trevor then calls the neighbor.
Yeah.
The neighbor then leaves a message, blah, 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 blah.
Trevor brings over the new samples of the new lotion. And
I don't even think it's probably, I probably don't think it's that far. I think it's every now and then Trevor shows up, be like, she's offering you $4 million. For what?
I don't know.
Every now and then you have to go to Las Vegas to hang out at a product convention.
Japan.
Huge
in Japan.
Burt is?
Burt, huge in Japan.
Fuck this dude. I want to be big in Japan.
So he leaves in his will to his former personal assistant, Trevor Folsom, the remaining in assets, all the land, all the money. He leaves it all to his assistant, Trevor Folsom. And he also has a trust of $35,000 trust created for his dog, Pasha, which is a golden retriever. Because as part of the will, Trevor is going to take care of the dog. So the $35,000 is the trust for Trevor to take care of his dog.
Okay.
So Trevor basically gets everything. He has to take care of that goddamn dog.
So he gets a couple $1 million and has to take care of a dog.
Yeah.
Tough life.
Horrible out here.
Okay.
Now that turkey coop, okay?
Yeah.
Which Trevor technically will own at this point. Trevor sold the turkey coop to the Clorox company.
Yeah.
And they moved the turkey coop to North Carolina. So when you go to the North Carolina site, if you go, because you can go visit the Burts Bees factory, they have his original turkey coop in North Carolina, and you can go inside and look at it.
That is so fucked up.
Yeah.
They not only did she steal his bees, she stole his home, ripped it from his ancestral Maine land, and took it to North Carolina, the one place he could not follow her.
He hated it. He hated it there.
Imagine being in a Durham, North Carolina fucking office park and looking over as the Clorox company is driving the Burts Beeswax fucking turkey coop into Research Triangle.
Perfect.
Jesus Christ.
I love it. So that's really the end of the Burt story.
Yeah.
I did get just a little pinch of information about Roxanne because I was very interested in Roxanne actually.
Yeah.
Because an incredible businesswoman, honestly.
Yeah.
From starting out as a single mom of twins who was like going through a bad relationship time, and that's how she ends up meeting Burt. She's hitchhiking in Maine, and then now she is, a billionaire running this crazy company.
Yeah.
Incredible. So after she sold to Clorox, right, with her fortune, she purchased 120,000 acres of forest in Maine. Right? That's a lot of fucking acres.
Yeah.
She bought a lot of fucking forest. she made all of that area off limit to hunters and loggers and other users. Okay. So she buys it and she blocks it off, and she's like, no, she's preserving this area.
Yeah.
She had since arranged a donation of 70,000 acres of that land towards a new national park. So she cut it in about half, little over half, and she created a national park. And this national park will be managed by the state and allow such activities as hunting, snowmobiling, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So she originally just got this huge chunk of land and was like, I'm preserving it. You're not allowed to do anything here.
Here's my question.
Go ahead.
This chunk of land, did it surround Burt's? Like, could you imagine if he has this? He's like, I got my 50 acres and I fucking... And then surrounded on all sides, she's still protecting him in some weird way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to buy these 120,000 acres. Just happens to make like a donut around his land with like a little sliver road that he can drive in.
Yeah.
And then it's just like an
easement.
Yeah.
So there's an easement
land that he can get through. It's like, this is what we're going to protect him.
Yeah, and he's also like, I can't even shoot my guns like I used to. Because, by the way, Burt loves guns.
Oh, of course. Why do you leave that part
out? Totally forgot. But, like, he is, like, an avid... Like, he just likes to go out into his backyard and just shoot cans off of stuff.
Having been...
Not like... He doesn't like guns like... America likes guns.
No.
He likes to go shoot cans of.
He likes to play with guns the way a guy who lived in the 1950s and watched a lot of cowboys and Indian style movies.
Yeah, exactly.
You go out back, you shoot some cans. It's what you do. Also, he doesn't have video games.
Yeah.
He lives in Maine. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else to do there. And I need to reiterate this: the bars close at midnight because the suicide rate is so high in that fucking state.
What are they all, dentists?
Maine has like the second highest suicide and alcoholism rates.
Oh wow.
In the United States. I think it's Maine. I think it's second high. The highest is Alaska.
Yeah, okay.
But again, it's because of isolation and darkness.
Yeah.
Because you're so much higher north than everything else.
Yeah.
That you end up with, it just gets darker earlier, so especially in the wintertime. And again, there's such tourism there that during like the summer and stuff like that, like it feels alive. But when winter hits, like winter fucking hits.
Yeah. The darkness.
It slaps different.
The darkness. Okay, so her plan of
You're north of most of the population of Canada.
This plan to change to give the 70,000 acres of land to the state was actually really controversial, and like people in Maine like were upset about it. I'm gonna use this in quotes because then I'm like, why are they upset? She's giving you a national park, you weirdos.
Yeah.
There was the people that were upset were politicians, Maine Governor Paul LePage.
Racist, by the way. He's a huge racist.
Yes, I didn't know that, but of course I looked him up.
Yeah, huge racist.
And you know what I found out about him that was super crazy?
Yeah.
Other than he is a huge racist.
Giant. I can't stress how racist this man is.
Super racist.
Yeah.
Was he has vetoed more things because he became the governor. He vetoed more things that came to his desk than any other governor in the history of Maine and any other state.
Oh, wow.
Because basically, when he got elected, one of his things he said he was going to do, one of his campaign promises, was that because the House majority was Democrat, anything a Democrat sent upwards, he was going to veto.
Yeah.
No matter what. No matter what they were saying, if a Democrat endorsed it, he was vetoing it. So like where an average governor might veto in Maine like 100 things, he vetoed 640 items in his term as governor.
Yeah.
Everything that came up, no matter who it would help or hurt, he said, no, it's got a Dem's name on it. Bye.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. Well, that's part of like that Maine, because Susan Collins is from Maine.
Wait, that was going to be my next thing.
Oh, yeah.
Maine Senators Angus King and Susan Collins also came out against this idea of her giving them a national park.
What? Susan Collins came out against a national park?
Yeah.
Well, Susan Collins is a bitch, so I can't stand Susan Collins.
She came out for Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, she did.
She can suck a butthole.
Yeah, she also was one of the ones who come around and be like, man, the Trump is more presidential now. And you're like, is he? Mm-hmm. I feel like he'll rise to the occasion. That's weird how that worked out there, Sue. Maine and New Hampshire both have this weird thing with their Republicans up there, where their view of a good Republican is, and actually just good governance in general, is virtually no government, in the idea that they want deadlock.
Yeah.
They want LePage style to come in and stop any Democrat from doing anything. And then if the Republicans get too big, they also want a Democrat who would then do the same petty shit to all the Republicans, because they don't want it's not just so much ideology, they don't want anything to ever change.
Yeah.
It's the wildest fucking thing when you get up that way. So the one town my ex was from, they had a ban on any outside, so they couldn't have a Starbucks or a McDonald's. Like all of those type of companies were banned.
Oh, okay.
But again, they were all tourists. Like it was a tourist town. And then everyone did there was complain about tourists. And I'm like, if it wasn't for the tourists,
you would have no economy.
You not only would have no economy, like no one would live here.
Yeah.
Like there was no other purpose. They're like, it's not like there was like, this is where the lobsters come from. There's a lot of like logging or any of this shit.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of hippies who had been in this area for like 60 years who just bitched about any change. What's all they ever did was, if anything changed, I guess we're doing, I guess we need double lines down the roads instead of single lines. Amazing.
Wow.
And I'm like, cool. Meanwhile, they're selling like $35 lobster rolls, which is just lobster in a hot dog bun. That's cooked wrong.
Yep.
Split top buns are wrong.
Okay, he's going to start on the split top buns now. Okay. So public opinion became positive about this after a series of listening sessions and meetings held by Roxanne demonstrated her intentions to provide economic opportunities and that they would build out a new national monument within the park. She ended up transferring 87,000 acres of her land to the U.S. Department of Interior on August 23rd, 2016, valued at $60 million, along with $20 million cash to fund operations.
Wow.
So she paid for all the state park workers up front, basically.
Yeah.
And then they built a national monument thing inside the park, too. So, like, if you go there, you can see the...
Is the national monument of Burt?
It's not. No, it has nothing to do with Burt. This is Roxanne.
No, I know that. But it would be funny if she does all this stuff and then they built a statue of Burt. Being like, I'm Burt.
She's currently a resident of Portland, Maine. She still lives there.
Okay.
She's a prominent philanthropist and leads a number of charitable organizations in the area.
Yeah.
And in 2019, she joined the faculty of Unity College in Maine as an adjunct professor.
Oh, good for
her.
her.
And she teaches like a business class.
Yeah.
Because she knows about business.
She definitely do.
And that's it. That's the whole story about Burts Bees.
Honestly, great story.
Thank you.
You did a really good deep dive on this topic.
Burt and Roxanne.
I was actually kind of shocked.
Why?
Just like in general, just like the way this developed. But yeah, Roxanne is Roxanne Quimby.
Yep, lady of business.
Amazing woman.
Woman of business.
I'll give her, you know what, for the goals of business, she nailed all of them.
She nailed it, dude.
I don't know whether or not some of the later choices, obviously you never know when you get to that size of capital, of whether or not there's any ethics left. Once you sell to Clorox,
yeah, the ethical.
You sold beeswax to Big Bleach. Like once you do that, there's part of it. But I mean, like that's also in the 90s and especially the 2000s. And actually, honestly, even today, half of like, oh my God, I grew a business. The goal is to sell it to one of these megacorps.
Yeah, and
she did that, and then she turned around and she rolled out a state park that Susan Collins was against. Anybody who does something that Susan Collins is against,
so I'm back on your side immediately. Because I'm like, yo, fuck Susan Collins.
Yeah, that LePage guy, though.
And LePage, because I started reading his Wikipedia page, and I was like, the fuck is going on?
Did you read about what he said about crime?
Yeah.
Yeah, we blamed it on people coming. He said the reason they have illegitimate children, he said, was because black people were coming in from Boston.
Oh, my God.
Which is like, dude, what?
Jesus Christ.
I'll never forget, though, the one time I went to Maine a couple times, and the one time like I was driving back, it was like we hit the border. There was like a Sunoco on the border, and I remember going in to get a pack of smokes, and it was like realizing I was like, this is like the first black guy I saw, and he was like just inside of New Hampshire. I'm like, what's with this weird fucking state? He's like, dude, I don't go over there. I was like, what? But yeah,
I've only been to Maine once, and that was when I was living in Vermont, and it was like I had to go there.
I like friends of mine who like go to Maine every summer and stuff like that. I'm like, no, like there were like older friends who like that was like their whole thing is they would get a bunch of cabins together and go to Maine. I was like, no. I also had friends who went to Assateague down in North Carolina. Yeah, and I was like, no, I don't make me travel that far for an annual trip. I think if we do an annual trip, obviously we go to the shore.
Yeah, we go to the shore.
Maybe we go to the mountains.
Gotta
go
to the
Poconos.
The only place that I'm willing to commute or drive to for a long road trip is one place, and you know where that is.
I know exactly where that is.
Fucking Dollywood, baby.
Fucking Dollywood all day. Because you know what? I feel like Roxanne and Dolly are very similar.
I mean, maybe.
They both tried to build up basically a town around them.
They did that, yep.
You know what I mean? Like create a park.
Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Wherever Maine. Shithole Maine. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know.
People are always like, oh, look how natural and beautiful Maine is. Because nobody wants to live there. All right, we should end the episode.
This has just become you talking shit on Maine because you're still mad at your ex from 20 years ago.
Yeah, I am. I don't let it go. Listen, my life's great now. We have a baby about to happen. But still, I can't.
Yo, fuck that bitch, though.
Yo, that's why you're my ride or die right there, okay? All right, right there. You're my ride or die.
Yep, for sure.
I remember one time like mentioning, I was like, oh, ex, and you were like, I'll stab her, and I was like, yo.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, I gotta hit that allegedly button.
So anyway, y'all, thank you so much for listening.
Thank y'all.
Don't forget to Google the Pickle Man Philadelphia.
Oh my God. Don't open that. Somebody, there is definitely going to be a Patreon in the next week or two.
Yeah.
There's going to be somebody who said that their name is going to be I Googled _ the Pickle Man _ Philadelphia _ tell _ me _ more.
I'll tell you what, Atlantic City is a wild time with the Pickle Man.